group of people thinks and feels and just like a worldview that they hold. It includes traditions that they do, like the way they dress, the way they act.
Types of food they eat.
Yeah. It depends on like where they live. Like, you know, if a culture wouldn't develop as well if they didn't have like a certain like plant that could only grow here. I mean, this is like going way back. But it develops over time, and people kind of grow up with the same way of thought.
Culture, I guess the way people live on a day-to-day. It's how like you carry out your life on a day-to-day basis and like what you surround yourself with.
I'm from Mexico City.
Mexico City.
My culture is in Mexico City.
Right.
I think it's beautiful culture because the history is a long, long time ago for this reason. I'm Mexican. I love my people.
Right.
I like this culture because it's very impressive. It's amazing. The American people is amazing. The country is amazing.
I would say it's someone's background, where they come from, their tradition.
Just like the traditions of, I'm Hispanic, so my family, just being surrounded by my family, doing the traditions, like we have quinceañeras, and like religion has to play into that, the music has to play into that, the food has to play into that.
Culture's like way of life, I guess, right?
Yeah, kind of like the social norms of like people who grew up with and like their traditions and beliefs, I guess. Like kind of like you take everyone around you, like generalize it.
Different backgrounds and histories and races.
Culture, I guess it means that in a way you're united with other people over certain things that you have in common, like I guess the color of your skin or the things you eat or where you go, what you like to do.
Oh, very difficult question. Culture means how we behave in our society, I think.
Okay.
So, the way we socialize, the way we greeting, the way we have a guest in our home, the way we offer something, the way we thank something. All these things.
White people are racist. No.
I'm Lebanese, so my family is really important to me. So I have a huge family. So whenever I go to home, not just every day, but whenever I go home, I always see my family, like 50 cousins and everything. We all hang out.
Right.
The food is a lot different, so I guess that's another way too.
It affects a lot of things. The way I dress, how I talk, how I view certain situations.
Yeah, like the music that's played around here, like in our American culture, for instance, the music that's played really drives the way that people act, the way that the generations.
One example that I can give you is that recently I went to my friend's house, well not friends, a classmate's house to do a project, and all the girls stepped in the house, and I actually took out my flip-flops outside right by her doorsteps, and I went inside and she was like, oh, you came barefooted, and I was like, no, I didn't, I left my flip-flops outside, and she's like, oh, you don't need to take your flip-flops out. And then, that's the way, I would define it that way as well, like, just me taking out my flip-flops, it kind of defines how different my culture is compared
There's definitely a lot of different cultures here at Texas A&M, and I guess I help shape my own persona or culture by the way everyone else influences me.
Well, in Mexico we have many different events all year. In 15 September, Independence of Mexico.
Oh wow. Okay.
March 21 is Benito Juarez, is Constitution. 5 February is Porfirio Diaz to make the Constitution in Mexico.
Okay. So do you celebrate it with your family? All those events?
Yes, all my family. The whole family is here and the house is in Mexico City.
That's great. Thank you so much.
As far as religion, it'll affect me every day, and I'm still close to that family, so I'll talk to them usually every day. If you're not calling them, it'd be like text messages. Usually when I'm driving here, I have my windows down, I have playing Tejano music, and everybody's like, what is she listening to? But yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I really like Mexican food because I was growing up there, so I have to say it's.
Okay, so mine is because I'm from Middle East. Mine is my culture is like very hot. I like to greeting, to laugh, to offer, to thanks a lot. So um, yeah, so I prefer to say hello to everyone, but here in United States it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So nobody answer. So I don't do it recently, but in my country, I say hello to everyone. So that was good.
All right, so what does culture mean to you?
Culture to me means the religion that you were taught, the food that you've grown up with, the history brought from your family history, your family tree, and that kind of thing, and how you were raised and how you were grown up to become.
All right. After researching your family tree on Ancestry.com, how do you see yourself portray your family's culture?
Well, I found out that my family has been in Texas for quite some time, and that we are Spaniards and Mexican descent, and have settled in San Antonio and have lived in San Antonio for quite some time. My family is Catholic and was Catholic from the beginning, so I see myself going to church every Sunday, living out my Catholic faith, also just kind of embracing the Hispanic culture, learning more about it, and not learning the language and all that other stuff.
Okay, what have you learned about your culture through doing your family tree, and what does that mean to you?
Okay, through my family tree, I've learned that in my past generation, my great-grandfathers, they are all from India, even up till my dad. Mostly my mom and dad's side, they're all from India, and now I was the first kid to be born out of India in Pakistan, and now a lot of my cousins, they're born in America, so I've learned how our family has kind of spread it around the world, and also how education is much important right now. Past generation, even up till my dad, education wasn't that important, and I'm going to be the first one to graduate from college, so
Go.
yeah.
Through researching the ancestry and learning about my family, I really didn't know anything about my ancestors or where I came from before. People would ask me oh, what are you? I'd just be I don't know, white or American. I didn't know anything about my culture, and after looking things up, I learned that a lot far back my family comes from England, and just as time closer to now, a lot of my family is from Pennsylvania, which is kind of weird because my parents didn't even my parents met in California, and so we ended up, and now we're in Texas. So I feel most people's families, they just talk about how we've been this for such a long time, but I feel for my family we're kind of different, and I feel culture, learning more about my culture has kind of made me realize and be more aware of how different we all are, and just what that means to people.